Hey everybody, Gina Mizell here alongside Danny Moran, where on Friday night Oregon State won its season opener in Gary Anderson's debut, beating Weber State 26-7. Kind of a clunky performance from the Beavers, not exactly a pretty opener, but of course the biggest story is Seth Collins, the way the offense turned on in the second half. And his performance was good enough to be named the starter for the Michigan game and for the foreseeable future. What were your thoughts on how that all panned out today?
Yeah, it was interesting that that ended up being the kind of storyline at the end of the game, given that in the first half, neither Seth Collins nor Marcus McMaryion established themselves at all. It was 6-0. Both were okay in that they didn't make any major mistakes, but it wasn't the kind of consistent offensive performance you might have hoped. Obviously, Marcus McMaryion throws the pick six in his own territory, and then he never saw the field again.
Yeah.
But Seth Collins came through, had a deep pass to Jordan Villeman for a touchdown, 44 yards. Victor Bolden dropped one that would have been another touchdown. What did you think of his performance, the way he grew? I mean, did you think he's kind of earned that spot at this point with this game against this opponent?
Yeah, well, he set an OSU, or the most rushing yards for an OSU quarterback at 152 since 1996. He only had 92 passing yards, but that 44-yard bomb to Villeman was kind of what sealed the game after that pick six, and Weber State kind of made things interesting there in the third quarter. And I mean, again, it's just that swagger and that energy that we've talked about, which has kind of been a detriment for Seth Collins. Coaches have said at some points during fall camp, but it seemed to be all channeled in the right way today.
Interesting thing with the 1996, that was when Jerry Pettibone was still here. It's a bit of a wishbone offense, so it's kind of took a long time. It makes sense to get to that point.
Right.
But yeah, I think the biggest key now is clearly the second half went Seth Collins' way. But his next game, where he will be, officially the starter, is at Michigan.
No pressure.
No pressure. A bit of a different atmosphere. There were about 30,000 fans here. There will be over 100,000 for Jim Harbaugh's debut. And we saw last night in Michigan's game against Utah. I mean, that defense, performed well. I mean, he's going to get a different look when it comes next Saturday in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, absolutely. And another part of the team that will get a different look is the defense, which performed really well tonight. Again, it is Weber State. Keep that in perspective.
Right.
But the defense pitched a shutout, and you can't really ask for more from this unit, especially with so many new faces on this team. You wrote about that today. Just what did you see out of them tonight?
Yeah, like you said, there's nothing really more you can ask. I mean, I think if you're going to critique it anyway, like you said, it is an FCS team that they were playing against, but they forced 10 punts, only allowed 9 first downs, so more punts than first downs. Held Weber State 0 for 13 on third down conversions. The biggest one came 2 drives after Marcus McMaryion's pick six. Weber State, it was actually the first play of the fourth quarter. Weber State was just short of midfield, had a big 3rd and 2 coming up, and Oregon State got an interception on that play. So that was another example of kind of coming up in big plays, which you want to see when you've got 9 new starters. And not only new starters, but new starters in a system that's different than what a lot of these guys were recruited for. So, like you said, kind of not really much more you can ask from that. It'll be a different test against Michigan, but the Wolverines, they struggled offensively, yesterday on Thursday. So, that defense is kind of going to need to keep them in the game, meeting Oregon State next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, game 1 in the books. Gary Anderson now a perfect 1-0 as the Beavers head coach. And, of course, a huge game coming up in Ann Arbor at the Big House next Saturday. And we will have all of the coverage between now and then. So for Danny Moran, I'm Gina Mizell. Keep it on OregonLive.com and read the Oregonian every day. And we will catch you next time.